everybody, and welcome to GenFriends. I'm your host, Sherry Hudson-Passy from Carolina Girl Genealogy. I've got a fabulous panel and a really great guest. I can't wait to get started. We've got Jenny Hawran from Like Herding Cats Genealogy. Hello, Jenny.
Hi, happy to be here.
I'm so glad you're here. I can't wait for this discussion. It's going to be so much fun. We've got Dr. Shelley Murphy herself, our family tree girl. Hello.
Good evening, everybody. I'm excited to be here tonight to talk about this.
Exactly. We've got Laura, Hedgecock, and Penny in the background from Treasure Chest of Memories. Hey, Laura.
Hi, hello from Michigan, where relative race sneaks around and I
That's
don't
right.
even know they're there.
That's right. Exactly.
Thaddeus
I
doesn't
feel your
even
pain.
drop by. Whatever.
I feel your pain. We've got Melissa Barker, our archive lady. Hello, Melissa.
Hi,
So
everybody. And I'm just like Laura. They were lurking around Tennessee this time. Didn't
I
know it.
know. And South Carolina. Oh,
Yes.
it's like all roads to relative race lead through South Carolina
So
somehow.
what happened to Virginia? Come
I
on.
don't know, not this
All
time,
roads lead to Virginia.
and of course, all of you relative race fans know who is our guest. This is Thaddeus. Thaddeus from season 11, Team Red Winners. Yes. And we love having Thaddeus on because he knows all about everything. There's stuff he can't say that he knows, but
Yeah.
we always love to have him come on and especially get us started with the season. And can you believe we're on 14? I mean,
Wow.
what on earth? What on earth? Season 14. I love the way this one started off in Atlanta in the little movie theater. I'm like, this is so funny. This is
Is
so
that
funny.
being innocent that he's not going to say anything? Y'all
Oh,
saw that book, right?
it would have done so well if that had been your beginning challenge. You would have known them all. You guys would have been
Oh my
your car.
goodness.
Could you believe they didn't know Princess Bride?
I know.
But Dan did a good impression, so I was proud of him for that. So
Now, I like the challenge, even though
I
I
thought
think
this was a good
they're all
one.
right.
It's a good one. It would fit right into our little book, right? That we're never going to get them to print up for us. Our family reunion game book.
I'll
So
have a download and have people donate to some group or something.
there we go.
Download.
You can raise money for something. So Thaddeus, what did you think about that beginning challenge?
I was jealous.
Like, I knew you were going to say that.
Challenge was perfect for me. Like my mom and I, we love movies. We always recite lines.
Yes.
So when I was watching it, I was just like, but we had to operate construction trucks. Right? But they did great. They did great.
They all did
That
great.
is my husband every opening season asks me, where are the construction vehicles?
Yeah.
Oh, so funny.
That was the best opening ever.
That was good. That was really fun because I thought, oh, I could do that. Except for, like I said, Laura was saying when you had to probably put Penny out, wherever you did with her. I was saying, oh, I'm so sad they couldn't get Princess Bride. I was like, oh my gosh, that's like the easiest one they did, you know?
And see, I didn't
Star
get
Wars
that one.
and the Star Wars because she had that loaf of bread, and I thought they could.
I had Star Wars.
That was a lightsaber. Yeah, so I thought that was a really, really fun, opening, and yeah. So the teams are great this year. We talked about the teams a little bit last week as we did a little preview for the teams, but I really think I already love them all so far, and I'm just like, okay, here we go again. Let's talk really quick about the rules. It's like last year.
Yeah.
Thoughts, Thaddeus, about no strikes again?
I
Yes.
like it actually. I do. At first, I was just like, "Oh, what? No," because we were stressed. We were stressed getting those strikes, but I love how everyone has that opportunity to just get to the end without like stressing over it, so they can really focus on the family and the meetings and all that.
Oh, I agree. I agree. And change the wording. You're not, it didn't sound so harsh this time.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just felt they clarified it a little bit more, like
Mhm.
even
'Cause we were
saying
so
like,
confused last time. Yeah.
yeah, saying, because we had questions last year about, well, so if you're in last place on day 9, even if you won all the other weeks, you're like, what's going to happen? And
What's
so
gonna happen?
he made it clear that you'll start day 10 in, in last place too. So
But if you're the team that gets the most first place during the race and you're not last place on day 9, you don't have to do the first part of the challenge.
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah,
That's
cool.
really cool.
That is
But
like,
that's how they
we
did
didn't
it
have to
last
do
year.
yeah.
Again, I wish we had that because our season, my mom and I, we started as the underdogs, but then we actually had the most first place wins.
Yes.
And our first challenge, we had some troubles getting the gear on. So it would have been nice to skip over that, but
Yeah. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
You can't be bitter.
Yeah.
Well, you can, but it doesn't help. It doesn't help anything.
Yeah.
So,
And by the way, how is mom?
yeah,
Just
She's great. She's
a
great. I
Southern
actually see
team
her.
member.
I see her in 2 weeks. She just bought a house.
yes, I saw that. I'm so
Yeah,
happy
she
for
just
her.
bought a house. So I am flying up there to help her out and giving my opinion to some rooms and saying this paint color should be this light fixture should be this. But
There you
she's
go.
doing great. She's doing great.
Please give her our love. And anytime you come on, she's welcome to come too. So
Yeah.
just shoot her that link and say, come join us. We would love to talk to
I
her.
will.
That would be great. That would be great. So Team Black, who's from Tennessee, gets the key first and gets on a plane to go where, Laura?
Boyne City, actually.
Michigan.
And I'm
talk
going to
about
ask
whether-
a question.
Let's talk about where they're from.
Well, Tennessee, that's right.
Tennessee.
They're from Nunley, Tennessee.
And how far is that from you?
1 hour
Oh, no.
south of me. Yes, I've been there. It's like my backyard. Yes.
You can go stalk them now.
Oh.
You can go talk to them. How?
Oh, and I do have a question for Thaddeus on the black team.
Oh.
And I don't know why I hadn't thought of this in the past, and maybe we've discussed it, but they got on a plane.
Mhm.
And so how does their car get to where they land? Is it driven, or how does that work?
It
It's
is
a different
driven.
car.
Yeah,
So-
it's a different car. They have
Yeah.
the trucks transporting it over.
And they do have more than one each color. They've got more than one car, right? They've got
Yes, they have
two-
way. Yeah, they have
Okay.
two.
Yeah.
But also I can't relate to that because we didn't fly anywhere. We finished the challenge and the car was right there.
So it makes you wonder, if, they had, flying, it can be really stressful, but still you can just kind of relax for a little bit instead of hopping in the car driving. So I wonder if that's any kind of, if it's helpful to, go through the challenge and then get to rest for a while before you have to get in and drive. I don't know. But Shelley, you had a question? I'm sorry.
Well, because of course Michigan is sporting, but they flew into Grand Rapids, but Traverse City Airport was right by Boeing.
Yeah,
Why did
I
they
know.
go-
It made no sense to me either. Must have
Oh,
been
you
like-
saw that too? Of course,
Yeah.
Mom and I are like, wait, why didn't they go to Traverse City? And it might have been flight timing or
Probably
something.
flight timing,
that.
probably.
Yeah,
But there
Traverse City
is-
doesn't have that many flights a day, especially
Yeah,
from
but
Atlanta.
they're grown.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
probably
they're
that's
a few
probably
months
it.
ago.
That's probably
They've
it.
grown. I mean, they're not as big as Grand Rapids International Airport,
That's
but
probably it.
I'm sorry.
All right, that's our geography lesson.
what did she say?
Hilarious. Whenever there's an airport that's really small, they call themselves an international airport.
international
Same thing with
Wait,
Greenville
isn't Grand
Spartanburg.
Rapids Internet? No, it's
Greenville
Gerald
Spartanburg does the same
Airport.
thing.
I
Exactly.
think, I think most of the international flights are from Canada. It's just-
So let's start. Nobody seemed to really have too much trouble finding their relative, at least, unless they just didn't show us. Looks like they,
Yeah.
were able to get directions and get there pretty quickly. is there a team that anybody wants to start with?
Well, I'm going to make a comment,
Okay.
and I don't know if it's a timing thing or generational thing, but when did people stop learning about how to use a map?
I don't know.
Oh, years
I
ago.
When
don't.
everybody got
I mean, how
smartphones.
long has it? All right, Thaddeus. And I think about my kids learned how to use the map,
Mhm.
but
We say this
their
every
ages are
season.
different, you know.
Yeah, we say this every season. You're going on a show where you have to use a map.
Yeah, remember the one
Pick
girl, the
up a
one
map and look at
she
it.
studied and mapped
Oh, yeah,
everything
that was
out.
Deshay. Yeah, that was Deshay.
Deshay,
She was good.
Deshay.
Deshay. Yeah,
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
was good. She was great.
Yeah.
Which team do you want to talk about? Thaddeus, is there a team that you would like us to start with?
Anyone.
Okay, let's go with
Starting
green.
with black. Just go with black.
Okay,
We
go
started
black because they
with
got out
black.
first and got their car and got on their plane and headed to their relative's house. And her story was really interesting because they showed a little bit more of her story. And she actually had a child when she was, I think she said 19, and
19, yeah.
gave that child up for adoption. And
And
she has, go ahead, Melissa, what were you going to
I
say?
was just gonna say, and as soon as she said that, I thought, oh, I wonder if we're going to see that.
The
Except for
daughter.
she says she's already met. She's already,
Yeah,
Oh,
they
she'd already said, okay, I didn't
reunited
hear that.
she's
already.
already reunited, but she says, I'm doing this journey partly for her too. So I'm wondering if maybe at some point, they'll bring her in. Who knows?
And they showed a picture.
Yeah.
Remember,
Oh, I
there
didn't
was a
see that. I must
picture.
have missed that.
Exactly.
I love Joby's her vibe. I mean,
Oh,
she's got this
yeah.
adorable laugh.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
she's just so fun to watch. And
Yes. And her relationship with her son, Vic, is so
yes.
kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of Thaddeus and Karen.
Yes. Yes.
A great, great relationship.
Well, they showed her
Love the
her
hair.
kids, and
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm gonna call them the hair family.
Oh
Yeah.
my
I just love
gosh.
the hair.
Yes.
The hair. I was
Beautiful.
like, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
And she said she wants to meet, especially wants to meet her birth mom. And I think it's because
Mhm.
of how, I mean, this is me guessing, speculating, but if you've been in that position yourself, then you would really be interested in meeting your mother who had the same experience as you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I agree with you. So
So
she meets her a first cousin, a paternal first cousin, and already off the bat we get some bad news.
yeah.
Which is, yeah.
Her
already-
dad, whose name is Everett, but they called him Tougher. He is deceased.
Mhm.
But her cousin Becky showed her his obituary.
Yeah.
And it turns out that in the obituary, she sees that she has two brothers and a sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I loved when she showed when Becky showed Joby the photo,
photo.
Yeah.
of him, and he looked like a real character. I mean, he
Yeah,
looked
that's where she
great.
gets it from.
You know,
And the hair.
And the
But-
hair.
Yes.
but
Yeah.
I just took note of, she said he looked so familiar, like I've known him my whole life, and I can't really
Yeah.
explain that. And I thought that
Yeah.
was just, and you could just see, he looked a lot like her son.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. That was,
yeah.
it was sweet. It was hard for her to get that information, but at least there was something. There was a photo. At least there was, information that she had siblings, that kind of thing. So,
And I kind of like the fact that they let this information in the first relative, because
mhm.
then she's not looking, day after day
Agreed.
after day, and then they tell them, 5-6 days in,
Yeah.
go ahead and get that at the
Somebody
beginning and get it over with.
Yes, I agree with you. What do you think, Thaddeus? Don't you think it's better to get it over with?
Absolutely. Just like Melissa said, you get it over with. Now you can focus on other family members. You can focus on other puzzles of the other
Mhm.
pieces of the puzzle. So yeah.
Mhm.
But-
Yeah.
And I'm going to direct this to Thaddeus. Did the thought when you first started out, did you think there was a chance they wouldn't be there, that they would have passed? I mean,
Absolutely.
okay.
Absolutely.
And I think everybody has that.
And do
somewhat.
they warn you about, that, or?
Yes,
It's
they
just,
gave me the warning, like this is a possibility. I knew that my biological mother dealt with drugs, and it wasn't like an experience. It was kind of like her lifestyle at that point.
mhm,
And I've seen what drugs can do to an individual. So I came in knowing that. I
mhm.
would still be heartbroken. I can't relate to Joby in the sense of getting that news the first day. I don't know
Wow.
how I will react. I will be very devastated.
Mhm.
Um, but it was that possibility that she might not be there. And then my experience day two, I kind of had that scare
Mhm.
because they said she was in the hospital. So
Yes.
it's like, ooh, okay,
Yeah.
is it like hospital deathbed or hospital just a visit?
Right.
Right, right.
Right. Exactly.
And you just think of the experience and the emotions that the folks that are on this journey go through. It's up
Mhm.
and down.
Yeah,
It really is.
exactly.
Yes.
It's up and down. And from week to week for these 9 weeks per se,
But
just
for them
that's a
days,
roller
yeah.
coaster. Even though you're meeting people, there's still something that could come at you,
Yeah.
and unexpected per se. Yeah.
How is it watching it, Thaddeus, as a former team member? Does it
It's
just
weird.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
weird. Joby and Vic, I immediately just connected with them because
yeah,
son,
yeah,
mother.
yeah.
When
Yeah.
I met them day one, they ran over, they were like, "Oh, I'm such a fan. I'm such a fan." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, hi." Like their spirit, their energy was so
Yeah, you can
amazing. They were
tell.
so eager, but
Yeah.
they were so genuine. They
Hmm.
were eager on the sense of family, and
Yes.
the back burner was, oh, also we're on a show doing like games and whatnot.
Yes.
They weren't
Yeah.
focused on that. They
Yeah.
were asking questions. They were so excited, and it really touched me when I saw them like in person. But now seeing them when all the edits are there and the actual show and their journey, it touched a lot. It's just a lot of people do not see what goes on. They see an hour show
Exactly.
for 10 episodes. And you
Hmm.
got to think for an hour, they split the hour for four
Hmm.
different teams.
Hmm.
It's a lot of emotions. It's a
Oh,
lot
yes.
of feelings just going through. You got to think one day, so much is happening. So
Yeah.
much. You're doing, especially the first day, you're doing the big challenge, and then you're driving. You don't know who you're meeting. So the emotions are going, going, going. Then you meet this person that you've been looking for all your life,
Hmm.
years,
Yes.
and you meet them and you have that little moment with the camera,
Yeah.
and then you have the moment with Dan the man,
Yes.
and then that's over, camera crew leaves, and now
Hmm.
you still want to talk, so you're
Yeah.
up hours just talking,
Yeah.
and then you got to do it the next day with someone new. It's a
Yeah.
lot.
It is a
Well,
lot.
even Eric, was it Eric that was in
Hmm.
season last season?
Yeah.
He posted on Relative Race on Facebook saying that this
Mhm.
was weird watching this from,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
After
Exactly.
he's been through it,
Yep.
you
After
know.
you've been through it,
yeah.
because you guys are a club, you know,
Yeah.
there's only so many of you in
Family
it that can
now.
really
Yeah.
that you can really relate to everything that's going on. And so
Yeah.
I think it's great that you guys can talk to each other and, talk about your experiences and I mean, think about, season 1, 2, and 3, they didn't have a lot of people that can relate to them. And now you've got a whole club of people that have
it's
been, yeah.
it's crazy you said that, because a little secret,
Okay.
I
This is being
actually
recorded.
It's just us.
I actually started a Relative Race alumni page, and
Oh,
it
Oh,
great.
is
good.
it's private, it's locked,
Yes,
but
as it should be.
I
Yes.
I met Eric last year. Oh my goodness, he is like, just his energy, his
Yeah.
love, his
Yeah.
compassion was amazing. He
Yeah.
came over by the house. It was great. And I just sat there. I'm like, it would be nice to just have that support from
Yes,
Sure.
other people that went through this, because it's
yes,
only a selective
that's right.
few.
Yeah.
So it's so fun to just communicate with like people from season 4, season 6, and like the new ages. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, well, that's
That's
cool.
good for you. That's
I'm
good.
really glad because it's
Yeah.
you guys you all need that. I think
Hmm.
I think you need that to be able to talk and especially because your journey continues with these relatives and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not so good. And so it's good to have everybody to kind of you know, talk to because they have done the same thing that you have. So I think that's great. Thanks for sharing that. And no, we're not going to share the link because he's not going to share the link with us. It's private, as it should be. Laura, were you going to say something before we move on to another team?
No, I thought, because remember Mary said how many relative race Facebook pages are there? And I
Oh,
was
yeah.
looking. I saw a closed group.
Oh, now you know. Yes.
So
Now
I
you
wasn't
know.
surprised with your secret.
That's great.
Obviously,
Perfect.
even if you see it, you can't join it
No,
because there's
absolutely
a
not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Thaddeus knows the names of the people, so you can't make one up.
You
So
can't make
Yeah,
one
I
up.
just
everybody,
wanted
we love them.
Yes.
I wanted a safe space for everyone. I wanted
yes,
to say, because
Yes.
again, we as fans, and I'm a fan too, watching, you see this journey, but when the camera is done after day 10, now what? We
Now
don't
what?
talk about that.
Yes,
We do not
exactly.
talk about that. And that's the space I wanted. Hey, how did you deal with this? Because not to bring it up, but it was part of their journey.
Yeah.
Season 10, it was Black team. It was the son and father,
oh
Yes.
Jamie and
yeah,
Jansen.
Jamie.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
He met his dad in the
yeah.
In
hospital,
the
but
hospital.
then later on in the season, you saw that the dad passed away.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how can you deal with that? Like, how do you deal with that?
Yeah.
So that's
Exactly.
why I wanted that space for us. Like, how
Right.
are you guys going through this?
Yeah. And season 2, Joe Greer had the
Support.
same thing happen to him. He met
Yes.
his dad and then he had passed away. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's really sad. Um, let's move on. How about Team Green? How about Laura Jean and Pam? They're fun. They're fun. But Laura Jean's got a sad
What I
story.
really liked about Laura was
Yeah.
the at the beginning when they were talking about themselves, she's part of a special group called the Diamond Stilettos.
Yes.
It's a motorcycle group.
Yes.
I used to ride motorcycles, so it's
Isn't
kind of
that
neat.
cool? Isn't
Yeah,
that
it's kind
cool?
of neat. I
Yeah.
love to know about those kinds of things about them. It makes them real
Yeah.
human.
More
When you see
human.
people on TV in a weird
Yeah.
way, they're not human. But, we know
Yeah.
they are, but
Yeah.
it makes them more human. But they were best friends, and so they were
Yeah.
there to support each other. So I would love to when the best friends
Exactly.
come along and support each other like that.
Right. And Pam did
At
say she
first, I
doesn't know
thought they were
much.
co-workers, but they
Yeah.
weren't. They're friends.
They're
Mhm.
friends. And Pam did say, though, that she doesn't know anything about her biological father. So she's
Yes.
maybe hoping they could find something. But her main purpose is
It's
to
to help
support Laura. And
Laura.
Laura is trying to find her family. She's got that crazy story about how she was adopted and so much younger than the rest of her
Sibling.
siblings. And she just feels like once they found out she was adopted, it kind of changed the relationship. You'd think that they would have known, but I mean, that's just the way it was. That's just the way it sounded, when they were
Yeah.
interviewing her. But she said that once the parents died and her brother died, the sisters don't have anything to do with her anymore. And so I'm really hoping that she can get some closure with that somehow along the way too, because that's really sad. That's just a terrible thing to have happen to anybody. So
Right.
yeah. So anybody want to talk about her and who she met?
She met
Before
her
who she
first.
met,
Go ahead.
before
Uh-huh.
who she
Yes.
met, I met Laura Jean.
Okay.
I met all of them.
Yes.
But Laura Jean, she really stuck out to me. She
Okay.
was this short little lady coming
Yeah.
out with all of this energy,
Yeah.
and another one who was so excited and so like ready to go. I was angry. I was very angry when I heard her story,
Yeah.
because just like her, when you're in that space, I dealt with abandonment issues all of
Mhm.
my life.
Sure. Yes.
When you when you're in a family, your
Yeah.
adopted family, and you're in this like close bond, and when the head people pass away, the mom and dad, for them to just leave her
Yeah, I thought it was
and
terrible.
just stop talking to her,
Mhm.
that made me angry
Yeah.
because she has a heart of gold.
Yeah.
And that touched me. I'm like, oh, why the good people? Like, no
It-
one deserves
yeah. That
deserves
is,
that, but
it made me angry as a mom who's
Yeah.
adopted kids. I was like, how could that happen? And oh,
I'm gonna
I would
wait
be
for
coming
the
back.
story to
Yeah, I'd be
unfold.
coming after in the next life my
Yeah.
kids down here if they were doing something like that.
yeah,
I'd be haunting them. So
Yeah.
it's just terrible. I can't even
I
imagine.
think we better hold on.
So yeah,
I
oh,
just think we gotta wait.
and see
And
if
it might
yeah,
not be anything and it might just be, but you know
yeah, I
what?
hope we
This
get
show
more
has
just
surprises
sometimes.
up and down. So,
Right.
and I was very angry. And then I had to sit there and I thought, no, wait a minute. They just totally left her. They don't
yeah.
communicate with her. And so I thought, no, no,
It's-
I want some more. I need Mary Riker to go
Where's
check
Mary?
out and start
Researching
doing
these
some
people. Mary, where
research.
are you? We need you.
Mary, where
Yeah,
are you?
I was angry. I remember my mom, that was one of her fears. Like, oh, you're gonna meet your biological family, you won't need me anymore, and then you're just
Mhm.
gonna stop
Yes,
me. And no, like you're my family.
your
Yeah,
I'm
mom.
just
Yes,
I'm
exactly.
just privileged. I have a second family too.
Yeah, exactly.
My personality is a lot, so I have enough for both families. So just to think like,
yeah.
oh, my heart. She is
Yeah.
such a good woman. And that just,
Well,
yeah,
Well,
so
let's just see how
I'm gonna
it
wait.
grows.
Yeah.
Let's
she,
just see how it
yeah,
grows. And I'm hoping it's something that will help her deal and how we see and feel that anger
I
on
hope
her
so.
part
Yeah,
and
I hope
you
so.
know, so I'm
So
just
she
hoping
was
it's
able to meet, sorry, Shelley, she was able
yeah,
to meet a cousin and then the cousin's son. The cousin's
yeah,
son is not a second cousin. The cousin's son
Right.
is is a first cousin once removed, but that's okay.
that's okay.
That's okay. You know, those relationships sometimes get crazy, but at least she met family, and that was her first.
Yes,
As she was hugging, this is her first, and that's always so emotional when somebody's meeting the first family that, you know, biological family that they'd
yeah.
ever met. And so I loved that for her, that she's starting on this path. And so
And
I'm
she
And she
learned
had a
that,
great,
yeah.
she had made a great comment. She said, and I can't quote, I didn't write it down, but she said something about not taking your family for granted.
yes.
Mm.
And that was true. However, I also got to thinking about it. It kind of dawned on me. And because all of us here are genealogists, and that's why
Mhm.
we're doing this show and we do other programming and stuff like that for genealogy. And so, but I kind of took that statement and turned it a little bit, and we should not take our genealogy for granted.
Yes,
That's
true.
family, but you know, it encompasses more than just our immediate family. And so, and I think some genealogists, I don't know, they tend to do that. They kind of take it for granted and I don't know, I'm very much passionate about each individual person having their own story
Yeah,
and that we should be telling that story. That's what we're here for, is to tell those stories of those that came before us and to remember them and to give them their time. I don't know, I'm just very passionate about that. So when she said that, it just made me think about, you know, we shouldn't take our genealogy for granted either.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think and what did she say? They told her life was about to get noisy or busy or something because they said how many
something like
relatives
that.
that
Yeah.
she had. And I thought, well, good. I'm so glad.
And
Yay,
again,
she's
we'll
got a
see. That
lot.
was only episode one.
Episode
So
one. Exactly.
yes.
Exactly. I think that the real tearjerker for me this time was Team Blue.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh. Okay,
What
Thaddeus,
was the
I know you
tear?
met them too, so we'll let you get started first with Team Blue.
I did not meet them.
You didn't?
Oh,
How did you not meet Team
I
Blue?
did not, and I'm so because we share the producer,
Oh,
Corey.
I
they were
gotcha.
quiet. They were quiet. So I
Oh,
didn't get the chance to
to
meet them,
really,
but I
okay.
saw them. I'm like, I want to get that moment, but things happen so fast. So yeah, I didn't meet them.
Aw.
Okay, we forgive you.
So
We
what was
forgive you.
their stories? This the
They're
team
both
lead,
they're both adopted into the
right?
same family, and it's like
Right.
10 years apart.
10
Yeah,
year, 10-year
yeah,
different or
exactly,
something like, yeah.
He's just
exactly. And
Well, it's not
so,
actually, it was 10 years later, the second
yeah,
child
thank you.
was
Yes, the
adopted.
adoption.
Yeah,
Yes, thanks for clarifying that. Yes, and
yeah,
so it's Daniel and Johnny, right? Yeah.
right,
So
yeah.
right.
Yes.
yeah, so
Yeah. And
it,
they seem to have a very good, really a very good upbringing. Like I think Daniel said,
yes,
he praised his mom and said, mom made sure we were raised right. He
yes,
Yeah,
seems like
yes.
a sweet boy, that
Ah,
he had he doesn't know a lot about his birth mother, except that she did have some alcoholic, issues. And,
mhm,
um, but he just seemed to, just say that he had a really good childhood and he's
right.
grateful for that.
And I thought it was interesting that Johnny was saying, and we've seen this before with other teams when they're both adopted. One, he was saying, I'm okay, but I came to support him, but
Yeah.
they'll find people for him. But he
Sure.
was
Yeah.
like, I'm okay.
they're both adopted. They're gonna
Yeah, they're
find
both gonna hopefully,
and be
you just never
supportive for
know,
both.
what that DNA is gonna show. But he says, I'm really on this show to support my brother. And I thought that was
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
sweet,
Hmm.
because he's got questions too and
Right.
wants to find some answers. But
See that last year there were,
mm, yeah,
I'm
it
trying to
was
think, there
Eric
was,
and Abe. It was Eric and Abe, and Eric
Eric
is
and
the one
Abe,
that was
yeah.
saying,
Eric and
I'm
Abe.
fine, I'm here to support Abe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because I think what, yeah, exactly, because I think what he was saying is not that he didn't want to find things, but he
Mhm.
thought his brother
Needed
had
it.
an inside of him that
Yes,
he needed the encouragement to do the
exactly.
journey
Yeah, I
to,
agree with you,
to
Laura.
go about it.
Yes.
And so that's how I remember that.
but
Yeah.
that was also a similar season. The two adoptees, it was a brother and a sister. They both were adopted,
Yeah.
and I'll tear up thinking about it because she just was
That was
thanking them for just showing up.
Callie.
Her
yeah, that was
family, you
Callie.
know who I'm talking
that was
about?
Mhm.
Kelly.
Yep.
Callie.
Mhm.
But she was really there supporting the brother. Remember
Yeah.
in the beginning, she was there to support him,
Yeah.
but
She didn't
if
she didn't think
somebody
anybody was
came,
gonna, yeah, and so she was
yeah,
just glad people would show up for her. So that
and
was
she was so emotional when someone showed up for her,
exactly. She's a
and you felt
sweetheart.
that
Yeah,
every bit of that. So
absolutely. So they get to the door, and who was waiting for Daniel?
His sister,
Sister.
His
his sister.
sister.
Her.
his older sister.
Yes, and when
Jan
they
Warren.
hugged, it was so sweet. He goes, "Oh, this feels like a mom hug." I'm like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
it was
She was
so
she
But
was
she
so sweet.
appreciated that too.
Yeah.
yes."
Well, she
Well,
was a
and
sweet
because
lady.
she had some bad news for him, and so I'm sure she appreciated
Yeah.
that he felt that way because his mom has passed away. But I
But
think
she
it,
had a couple of pictures.
yeah, she had the pictures, and boy, does he look like his mom. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
But
But
how
she
What
said
I
something to
loved is
him.
when she said something about you can look at this picture of your mom and you can see where you see why you're so good looking. He's like,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
right?
He just
you.
smiled. Yeah.
Melissa, what were you gonna say? I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She said something to him that was just about tore my heart out.
yeah.
She said that their mom told her that he had died at birth.
Died.
Oh,
Right.
can't even
And,
imagine.
I'm sure, I don't know, but I'm sure that that's how she coped,
Maybe,
that it was just, he's gone, he's dead,
yeah.
dead to her,
So sad.
but, and so, cause she had to tell us, I didn't know you were alive because we were
Yeah,
told, or she was told that. But because, I mean, the mother, if she was around the children and pregnant, I mean, she would have to say something if she came
yeah.
back not pregnant and not have a child.
The child. You got thoughts on that, Thaddeus?
When I heard that, I was angry again. I'm like, oh, this
We're gonna
episode,
have to give you some chill pills.
this episode. I was angry at first,
Yeah.
because again, my journey, my biological mother kept my name around. It was
Right,
still there.
right.
Um, so for me, it felt nice to know like my spirit was
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
them, even though
Exactly. Somebody
physically I
was
wasn't there.
remembering you. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So
Yeah.
at first, I'm like, that's unfair for him because
Yes.
maybe the siblings may want to
Hmm.
find something out. I don't know. But then I actually had to sit there and try to, it was very hard to do because I can't like relate. I tried to put my mind in the biological mother's mind. Maybe that's what she needed
Yeah,
to
just what
move
Melissa was saying.
on because
Yes.
you're pregnant, you're carrying your child for 9 months.
Yes.
You have to, adoption is hard. You
Right.
have to do something to kind of put that bandage over that womb. And so I got
We,
it, but
yeah,
it was just
we
sad.
don't know. And another thought that I had too was if they were worried at the beginning that he might have fetal alcohol syndrome, if she was drinking and doing drugs, the state may have taken him away. And
Oh,
and
yeah.
she may not have wanted to go and say that and process that either. So that might have been, again, a way for her to deal with it. So we don't
And I'm
know
gonna,
what actually happened and where her mind was at the time, but there's so many different reasons, that it
But
could
his
have.
sister said something wonderful too. She said, "You have walked into the mother lode of
Yes,
family."
the
family.
mother
I know.
load of family. I loved that.
I know.
Because
I
he said,
know.
"Do I have any siblings?" And she was like,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
"Oh, yes." So this
And
is
Yeah.
I'm gonna
very,
say something on
yeah,
the mother.
okay.
Personally, I could cope with the death rather than knowing he's out there and I didn't have him.
Oh, that could be, maybe.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
That
do.
and I
Yeah.
think Melissa hit it saying that might be the way you deal
Mhm.
with that closure. I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see
as a
that.
mom.
And I'm just gonna keep praying that he's okay.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and
And
either I
yeah,
couldn't keep him, whatever the situation
right.
was, but I would rather that
Mhm.
probably wouldn't have made it or to say that
Yeah.
also to keep going, you
But to,
know,
but to
and
Thaddeus's point, I mean, how many times on this show
yeah,
have people been told, we've looked for you, or we remembered you, or
and some
we
didn't
got
know at all.
pictures, and that kind of thing, and how healing that was. And so he
Yeah,
doesn't have that. And so
yeah.
that makes me hurt for him, is he
But
doesn't.
you never know. Something could come up later
Something could
that
change.
did
Something
know.
could change. Exactly. Something could change
So
later
again,
on.
let's
So,
that's
yep.
we're gonna stay positive
We're
in that story
gonna
because
get
there might
that
have
anger
been the
out.
best friend or the
That's right.
first
We're gonna
cousin,
get that anger
somebody.
out.
Okay, now you be Miss Positive. I'll
I'm
I'll be
trying
Debbie.
to be positive
Thank you,
because
Shelley.
I will
the
be
Thank you,
little
Debbie
Shelley.
Downer
anger
for a
spot
minute.
went through.
I really think
Yeah.
grasping that things are unknowable is a hard journey.
Yes.
Yes.
That we
Yeah.
have just, it's natural for us. We want to figure things out to make them have some.
Yeah,
It's why we do
exactly.
genealogy.
To
We're
make us
looking
feel
for
better
Exactly.
too.
facts.
It makes us feel
Exactly.
better when we can think about, when something makes us angry or sad. If we can think of a reason, it makes us feel better.
Right. And
That's how
so,
we cope.
That's how we
yeah,
cope.
so to find
Absolutely.
out that something happened and no one is available to ask questions,
Yeah,
it's
that's hard.
hard.
Yeah, it's
It's a
hard.
hard journey.
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
exactly.
So I was
I
glad
agree.
he ended up in a big loving family
Yeah.
because they can't answer
Exactly.
the questions,
Yeah,
but I think being loved
will help.
is
Oh, yeah.
is a therapy,
And
Yeah.
and being recognized
Yeah.
that you're part of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the love comes. But
Exactly.
just being recognized, I am. I'm related. I
Yeah.
have family. You know, not taking anything from the adopted family, but the fact is
This is where I belong. This is where
this is where I
connect.
am
Yeah,
and
this is
where
where
I
connect.
belong. And I'm connected to all of these people where I didn't have anybody per
Exactly.
se, you know. So
All right,
again, I
Mr.
don't know why I'm
Thaddeus,
so
please, did you?
positive because
Sorry,
I
Shelley.
was so angry.
All right, Team Red, did you meet Team Red?
I did.
Oh yeah, okay.
I had to meet the
I figure
fellow
you
Team
had to
Red.
have met Team
I
Red.
had to. It was Camille and Precious.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Precious, just like her name, she is so precious.
Aw.
She is a jokester. Like she
Oh,
loves to have fun and
okay.
just have like amazing. And Camille, she's eager. She's very eager, but very determined. She was like,
Okay.
I want to meet this person. I want to meet this person. Questions, just questions and questions and
Yes.
questions. So yeah, they're both great women.
Yeah,
They
and you
seem
know,
That'll
really
be
like they
good.
are.
they did
Yeah.
seem and their interviews and when they were talking about their journeys, they're very much just wanting to embrace the journey as well to
Yes.
see,
Think
and
so.
support each other, and so
And
I
this
love
is
that.
a team that hadn't
Didn't
met
know each.
until
They didn't know each
this.
other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
here we go with the strangers, but this seems to
yeah,
really be working with them.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, definitely. I
And we've
forgot
seen
that. I
that.
mean,
Yeah, you kind
We've
of
seen
forget
it
it when you're.
positive from the last season before where the people didn't know each other and they instantly bonded,
Yeah,
as far as support system,
exactly.
and you're gonna need that for this stuff.
Exactly. But we're going to have another case of how come this one's meeting so many people and this one isn't? Well, that's not
Just
fair.
hang
Well,
on.
but it's the DNA. You can't
Sure.
produce people that either aren't there or don't wish to participate on the TV show, but we'll meet them later. You can't, they're on this journey to see who they can find, and it's not necessarily going to be every other show, you know, but that would be fun. So, but yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if one gets to meet more than the other because people will complain. But remember, the researchers can only do what they can do. The DNA can only connect with who they can connect.
And there's only 9 weeks.
And there's exactly. That's a
And
good
that
one.
doesn't split in half evenly.
Right.
You know?
So who'd like to talk about this? This one was wonderful. The whole thing about the Bible gave me chills. Who would like to talk about Team Red?
well, one thing about Team Red is with Precious also that before she even met her relative was she had her biological mother actually wrote a letter for her saying how much she loved her and
Yes.
giving her, I'm sure there was other things in there that she didn't mention, but that was very touching to me because that doesn't happen a lot, that you don't hear that a lot.
Right.
And I think that so I was so happy she met her aunt Chantel.
Yes.
And Chantel said that Precious was the missing piece in the puzzle. Like they knew about her, but it just now the family is ready to to go on this journey. And Chantel was telling her that Precious's biological grandmother, had a white Bible with a newborn baby photo of Precious, in there next in the Bible
Psalm.
on the 23rd Psalm. And then Precious said, my adoptive grandmother got me a Bible, a white Bible. And she used to read that same scripture all the time. And it was just like, wow, it was
I got
kismet,
chills.
and she got to see a photo of herself as a baby when she was just newborn, and that is a gift
that doesn't happen a lot either.
No,
that doesn't happen a lot. So
and I loved that story.
That was very, very, very precious.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a question where I got confused. So Chantel is Precious's aunt.
Yes.
But they seemed like about the same age.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't think so.
It can happen.
That happens.
I know it can happen. My best friend, her niece is 2 months younger than her.
Yeah. I got lots of that in my family.
Yeah, because I was just at first I had trouble when Chantel was saying my mother, and I was like, wait, your grandma,
And it could
we
be the older
was having
sister.
trouble because I had this vision of them as peers. And then I
Yeah.
was having trouble following the relationship.
Because because Chantel did say, she said, I was just a baby when you were
A
born, or
baby,
I was
that's
just,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
then
right. She did say
Yeah.
that.
she
So
did,
she's
yeah.
from the older sister then.
Yeah, but so if she was a baby, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank y'all.
Yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thaddeus, what'd you think about their story?
I wasn't angry. I was very, it was so sweet.
I'm gonna
It was,
sprinkle positive.
thank you. It was so sweet.
Oh, wasn't it?
Precious looked so happy and
Yes.
so like relieved, like wow. And that's the part of the story that always makes you feel good. It's like, yeah, you were important. We were
Yep,
looking for you. You were part of our
exactly.
lives. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that was beautiful. It was
Yeah.
beautiful.
I think we got a good season. Well, all the seasons are good, but
Yeah.
I just think,
Well, and
each
yeah,
one brings a little bit something different than the one before. So
exactly.
this
And
one's
every year
good.
we think, how could they top it? And they always do. Because
Every
it's people's
season.
stories. It's people's
Right.
stories.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it special. And that's what makes
Mhm.
it top, the season before.
Mhm.
So as we were kind of talking about, there's the rules are the same for
Mhm.
as last season. There's no strikes.
Right.
Yay. So nobody's going home. They're all gonna make it to day 10, which is great. But what I thought was interesting is as they go through to see, the timing, they're still going to, have that time, and they're still going to be ranked as first, second, third, fourth. If you come in fourth, then you have to beat the time, which I think
Mhm.
people got confused with last season. You have to beat the challenge time
Fine.
of
Right.
somebody else, not the full day time, but the
Mm-hmm.
challenge time of somebody else, or you
Correct.
stay in that last place. The only way out is to beat somebody's challenge time.
Mhm.
So if you're still in that fourth place on day 9, you go into day 10 in the fourth place.
Mhm.
Even if you'd won all these other
Yeah.
come in, number
Well,
one.
but it all
But
comes
that would
on
be
day 10.
hard. That would be so
Yeah.
hard if you'd
Yeah.
had all these number one, because on the
Mhm.
flip side, if you're not in that, number fourth position on day 9, whoever has the most first place wins doesn't have to do the very first challenge. And that's, we were talking about that. And of course, that is bitter. So anyway, that's okay. Boy, he had a bitter and an angry and everything was okay. Kind of Shelley sprinkling the good on him. First day of season 14. But what was really interesting is because Team Black had the best time,
Yeah.
and you always get some kind of a reward or something for coming in first. Theirs was to not go back in time. And at first I thought, what the heck does
Yeah.
that mean?
Yeah,
And they brought back the selfies,
I'm
and
glad.
But it
I
looks like
love
that's
those.
just for
Fun.
one episode,
and it
though.
could just be for the
And
one.
I think the selfies are good. They
I
should
think they're
have
fun. I
got
think
that
they're fun. But
because
I didn't
that's
have to do
part of
it. We'll
the
ask Thaddeus.
journey.
But anyway, Team Black doesn't have to do the selfie
Selfie.
on day 2. Thaddeus, the selfies?
I was so happy about the selfies. I wanted to do them.
Okay.
But they stopped the season before, I believe,
Oh,
with
that's
the
right.
city selfies because
Yes.
they introduced the whole photo
Yes, that's
voting.
right. That's
That's
right.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
I
Yeah.
like it. I like the photos because it's part of the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you're going to have that video,
You mean the
taking the photo of the city
the
when you
selfie
get,
photo? Okay,
the city
yeah,
selfie.
just that's every stop you make,
right. People are so much better, and they don't have the flip phones. I think that's what it made it so funny to begin with,
Yes.
because they had to do it on a flip phone.
Some
Yes.
people
Right.
still with flip phones.
And now they've got regular, they just don't have the internet.
Yes.
So, but too funny. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that'll be just for the one time,
Yeah.
or if that's what, you know, they'll
have
do
to see.
something from a previous season each time to say you don't have to do this, but everybody else is going to, because that would be kind of fun as well. Melissa, I'm sorry.
I just said we'll have to see what if it's just
Yeah.
the one
There
time
you
or
go. Just hold on for the ride.
Just hold on for the ride. You
Tune
never
in
know.
every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Because you never know. You never know what they're going to throw in. And
It's on my calendar.
they've thrown in curveballs before in, you know, in the middle, right? Yeah, they've done that before. So it's going to be interesting to see how the challenges go, the daily challenges, how those, what they've got up their sleeve for that one. And so Thaddeus, you can't tell us, but do you know what some of these are going to be? And are we going to be upset? Are we going to be laughing? Or are we going to be?
Don't you say a thing.
I don't know. I don't
There
know.
you go.
Okay. Okay,
You don't need Dan the man coming on here and say, don't have Thaddeus on here anymore.
he tells y'all too much.
Yes.
We were talking about our favorite over the seasons, and I think one of mine was it last season when they put their hand in the box and it was really
Oh,
their
yes.
and to see and to tell what they were feeling, and it was actually just their teammate.
Yeah.
Their
that was
No,
head.
the one figured out it was her mother, and the
And
other
she
one
was like,
her sister.
thought it was a rat.
There's a rat. That was so funny.
So funny. Of all the seasons, Thaddeus, do you have a favorite challenge that you've seen that you wish, or maybe that you wish y'all would have done instead of so you
Instead
did?
of the ones you did.
Yes. So I'm throwing it back to season 4.
Okay.
I believe it's season 4. Where a good friend of mine, Joe and his sister Jerica,
Yes.
Jerica, yes, love them.
they did a acting challenge. Of course, I would like that.
Yes.
It was
that was good.
you have to mimic a character and you have to guess it. So I
Yeah.
would have loved to done that.
You would have been so good at that. So good at that. Well, we've made it through the events on day 1 of season 14. Is there anything we missed?
Did we tell the results?
Yeah, we did.
No.
Well, we said
We
Team Black.
didn't say first, second, and third, did we?
Go ahead, Laura.
No.
Go ahead, Laura.
She did
I
not.
just didn't want
She
you to
did
forget.
not.
I don't want to do. Okay, I'll say it. So the ones that went to Michigan won. Team Black came in first.
Yes.
Teams green and red were safe, which left Team Blue in that temporarily eliminated position.
Yeah.
So they have, you know, and Dan kept saying, you could be in this forever, but you could be out next week. But he was a little heartless in the number of times he reminded them.
They can't be there forever. Hopefully.
Stop saying it.
Hopefully. Anybody else, Thaddeus, is there anything that you wanted to say about day 1, season 14?
No, day 1 was so much fun to visit. I saw old producers with the new producers. It was kind of weird with the new producers coming up, like, oh my gosh, I love your story. I'm like, hi, I don't know you, but hi. Like, hi. With the new contestants, and of course, Dan the man, he was amazing. He's doing amazing as well.
He looks so
Awesome.
good.
He looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
He's looking good, just like
What a
Grandma said.
miracle. What a miracle he is. He's
Yeah.
an
Yes.
absolute miracle. Absolutely. Absolutely. We're so glad to still have him running the show.
Oh, yes.
Yep. So anybody else have anything that pops into their mind that we didn't talk about?
Looking forward to it. It's going to be a great season.
It's going to be a
I
great
think
so.
so too.
season.
Ditto.
Yeah. And Thaddeus, thank you for coming on and helping us
Thaddeus?
get started with
No
this.
problem.
You know we love you. You've got the link. You can
Yes.
hop on anytime you want. You know
Thank
when
If you find yourself bored one Monday evening,
just
Just
on.
pop on in.
And especially it, you know, something's really got you going and you just need to talk about it.
feeling mad, feeling sad, whatever.
Exactly, whatever.
We're here to support you and
Yes, we
other
are here to
things
support
in
you.
that private Facebook group.
Tell everybody on that group that GenFriends said hello.
Tell them we
will.
said hello and
We
that
love
we love
them.
them.
And yes,
I
exactly.
will.
And we said hello. So anyway, thank you everybody for being here. We will be back next week with day 2 of season 14 of, you want to just say relative race. You can't say it the right way. You got to say it the Dan way, right? Anyway, thank you for being here. We appreciate our viewers that watch, and we love your comments. And did you get angry? Has this helped you get over it? So,
We're
we will,
copers now.
exactly. We will see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.